one comes to mind, too.
Absolutely.
A lot of people thought, about a decade ago that was going to be it for Roy Jones Jr.?
Yeah, that was on the morning.
As we take a look at Bobby Gunn, the 43, look at this in two different fashions, and we'll talk about it as the bout progresses, but perhaps that crossover now with more bare-knuckle boxing.
46 of those wins coming by way of knockout. Wearing red, trimmed with white, he is a 10-time world title. 18 big victories coming by way of knockout. Wearing tiger stripes this evening, God bless.
Bill Gunn, the camouflage trunks, and Roy Jones Jr. in the red trunks.
See, Gunn should come out and try to press Roy early, try to check that chin early. If he lets Roy settle into the box match, you see, the one thing about Roy, even though he is 48 years old, he still has some quicks. He still has some athletic ability. The big thing on him, especially later in his career, has been the punch resistance.
It'll be interesting to see if this round goes into the late rounds, the championship rounds. And again, you're talking about the pedigree of a Roy Jones Jr., and not to take anything away from Bobby Gunn. He's had close to 30 pro fights as well, but again, it's, when the lights shine the brightest, if you will, aside from the record, which is brilliant in bare-knuckle boxing at 73-0, it's a different animal, and you're still going against an all-time great, Roy Jones Jr.
And every time he stepped up, Mac Ranelli, Adamick, Glenn Johnson, James Toney. Johnson and Toney were very advanced in their age, much like Jones was, and he came up a little short on those. Actually, the Toney fight, he was stopped in 5 rounds.
Yeah, Adamick fight back in 2009,
this is what Gunn has to do. He has to kind of make this a dogfight.
Well, listen, Roy Jones Jr. said, I can certainly box circles around him, but I also want to give the fans something to cheer about. And they want to get their entertained and their money's worth, and that's all well and good. That being said, he's also got to respect the fact that Bobby Gunn does have some knockout power. And you mentioned, too, you're not talking about 20-year-olds anymore. You're talking about a 43-year-old in Gunn and a 48-year-old in Roy Jones Jr.
Even though it's not pretty to look at, that's what Gunn has to do. You've got to get through with one of those punches and maybe try to rattle Jones.
Absolutely. And even when you look at Roy Jones Jr. throughout his career, even early on, was able to take some shots, but then as those losses started to mount up, it was those devastating knockouts. Those knockouts that you don't forget, they have a lasting effect on you.
Absolutely. He was brilliant early in his career. Very smart in the ring. Obviously, you can hear it in his commentary that he does on HBO.
Certainly, he will roller skate into the International Boxing Hall of Fame when it's all said and done, but you just wonder how much longer does he want to fight. I mean, Gunn has an opportunity to end the fight with a knockout and perhaps send Roy Jones Jr. in retirement, but it's always tough. In this game of boxing, you're always battling within. Do I have one more fight left?
Gunn gets in a little jab to the body.
Lazy jab there. Closing in on one in the books.
A lot of posturing and posing here in round 1, Rich. Technically sound guys in the world either.
You're right. Good set for round number 2 between Gunn and Jones.
See, Roy Jones back in his heyday would see the shots. He would have seen 2 or 3 shots by now, even though the round's 15 seconds old.
And you're right, I do believe that Gunn has to force, and it sounds goofy to say, it's not like he's going to take Roy Jones Jr. out of his comfort zone, but you have to be the aggressor. You have to force the issue a little bit, and maybe he's hoping to connect once with that right. That right we've seen distinguish 18 opponents via knockout.
See, Roy could just do this all night, move his legs, stick jabs in Gunn's face, and there's nothing really Bobby Gunn can do about it. Especially if Bobby Gunn is not going to throw any punches. I mean, Roy's sitting on the ropes. So now Jones has him on the feint. So once you set a guy up on a feint, you can open up a lot of doors for Roy Jones.
This might be the theme for the first couple of rounds. Roy Jones Jr., 64-9 in his career, 46 knockouts. And arguably one of the greatest fighters we've seen, and he's ruled the decade of the 90s and the early 2000s. It is tough to watch at times when you see a brilliant fighter like Roy Jones Jr. continue to fight, albeit he has won 10 out of his last 11.
There's a left by Gunn. Jones is looking into the crowd like that didn't do anything. I think Jones is going to try to set him up for a right hand.
Lazy straight right by Roy.
He has Gunn.
Double up. Yep.
Yeah, he's got Gunn going for those feints. He's feinting left hooks.
Snaps that left in there. Number 40 to go. Late in round number 2, slated for 12.
There's a left hook by
Lunged
Jones.
in, yep, absolutely.
And Bobby's saying something to Roy. These guys have known each other a long time.
Well, this fight was supposed to occur several years ago, several times.
Yeah, but they know each other. I've talked to Bobby. I know Bobby pretty well over the last few years. They know each other. Roy admits that. So they're I don't know if you call them friends, but they're friendly.
5 seconds.
There's a good right by Jones. This is why I really wish Bobby, early in the fight, would have tried, the first couple rounds, try to make Roy more uncomfortable. Sell out. I mean, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I talked to Bobby a little bit, and guy in the word, he asked me what I think. I just said to him, you know what, if you want to win this fight, don't be afraid to be great.
No, you're right.
And he hasn't done that yet in the first 2 rounds.
Early stages, round number 3, and you're right, you have to take some chances because Roy Jones Jr. is certainly susceptible. You go back to that Macaronelli fight, floored him with that right uppercut, then started to just pummel him, then connected with that powerful right and just knocked him out cold. If there's anything, if he gives you a little bit of an inch, Bobby Gunn's got to be, he's got to be on standby. He's got to understand that and take advantage of it. Seize that moment. Round number 3 slated for 12. Roy Jones Jr. red trunks, Bobby Gunn camouflage trunks. Rich Canyon is ringside with my broadcast partner this evening, Mark Abrams, pay-per-view. Great card put on by David Feldman Promotion, so we appreciate everyone tuning us in worldwide.
Gunn, has a little opportunity. He's inched his way into the corner, has Jones backed up by the turnbuckles, and he can't do anything.
Midway through round number 3.
Good jab from Jones.
Yep. Stuck it in there. Stuck in another one. A sneaky left. Oh, he's just pecking away right now.
Just missed with that left hook with Gunn.
And that's the first time we've seen Bobby Gunn really try to be aggressive, insert himself. And you're right. If anything, it makes Roy Jones Jr. think a little bit. Well, you and I talked about this. They're dubbing it skill versus will. Thus far, it's a chess match.
Well, the skill is playing out. Bobby needs to show more will. He needs to take more chances because Roy will just pick him apart all night just like that. I do think, though, Roy is going to come with a right hand behind one of these jabs.
So again, Bobby Gunn
No head
cut the ring off.
head movement from Gunn.
Stationary. Really trying to go for that one shot. Closing in on 3 in the books.
Good shot by Roy.
And they'll touch gloves at the end of round 73 bare knuckle fights. Fractured his right hand numerous times. Left, his nose has no cartilage in it. That's a tough guy. Jones snaps off that left.
Lead left hook from Roy. Scrapes off the top of the head. Maybe that's what he's going to feature this round. You've seen the jabs, you've seen the hooks of the body.
After round one, making some subtle adjustments. Again, we saw too in the late stages, round number 3. He was just sticking that left, going to the body a little bit.
That was a quick right by Roy.
Gunn trying to walk him down. And there's got to be a sense. There's got to be a sense of frustration if you're Bobby Gunn, because you want to be able to get inside a little bit. You want to be able to press the action, and it's hard to hit something that's moving.
Yeah, and that's why Bobby's got to get in, work the body, try to slow. He's a 48-year-old man. It won't take as much to slow him down as it was when he was 28. He's 30 pounds heavier. When he ruled at 68, 75.
Yep. Well documented. Decade of the 90s, early 2000s, tries to sneak a lazy right uppercut in there.
There you go. There you go, Bobby. Go past it.
They're just looking away.
Let it go. Let it go. You're holding it. Work out of it. You both three.
Jones gets pushed off. See, that's what Bobby's got to do. He's got to roughhouse him, Rich.
Under a minute to go in this 4th round. Yeah, this is kind of the theme of the night thus far in this one. Bobby Gunn waiting just for that one opportunity, that one shot. Roy Jones Jr. mixing in the jab, moving around.
Oh, there's a
there
quick
it was right there.
hand.
Quick right hand. Little flashback, little vintage. Snap the left again as we're closing in on 4 in the books.
Roy's starting to ramp it up, and there's a perfect right hand. And now he has him, Roy has him right where he wants him. He's left hooks, jabs, right hands. You know what? Rights to the body. That's maybe the one thing he hasn't shown yet. So when you have a guy like Gunn, think of your whole arsenal,
Sure.
then you have a guy any way you want, at any time.
But there will be a point of this fight where Bobby Gunn, as you alluded to, will have to go for broke. He's just going to have to.
Well, we'll see if he does. I mean, you would figure he would have tried to do something early to just say, get his respect, but he wasn't able to do that.
And Roy went on record to the media, look, I'm going to engage. I'm going to make it an entertaining fight. Certainly easy to say to the media. Hasn't panned out like that.
Now there's blood from the nose dripping out of the nose of Bobby Gunn.
Left up top by Roy. Another left. Minute in round number 5, slated for 12. WBF Cruiserweight Championship on the line. Roy Jones Jr., Bobby Gunn, thanks for joining us this evening. Championship boxing back in the first 8, Wilmington, Delaware.
A lot of times, just on top of the skill level, the difference between guys like Jones and Gunn, Roy sees the shots way before than Bobby Gunn does. He's already thinking 2-3 shots ahead.
But it's also, to be fair, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, It's the skill and the will. The skill, obviously, he's going to win out a lot of the time, but it's also the
good
smartness.
Combination. You saw the left. Then he pulled the trigger on the right. Another right by Roy Jones Jr. Found a home for that straight right. Oh, there it was again. Best round thus far.
Dare I say vintage?
Minute to go. Round number 5.
He's showing the whole arsenal of
Yes,
Roy
he
Jones.
is. Another combination up top.
You have an undefeated middleweight behind us, Bobby Gunn Jr., urging his father on. Screaming, "Come on, Dad." There's a right hand by Gunn that sneaks in.
See if he can feed off of that.
There's a left to the body.
Doubled up by Roy Jones Jr. Clancy will let him fight through it.
And now there's some scrapes around the left eye of Bobby Gunn.
Now you know going into round number 6, Roy Jones Jr. will exploit that. He'll continue to exploit that because he's found a home for that straight right. Best round.
I think Roy now knows he can hit him anytime. Roy Jones Jr. just has him right in the middle of the ring.
Set him up with the left.
When this fight's in the middle of the ring, it's no contest.
All right, 5 in the books. We'll get back to Ciro for unofficial scoring. And Ciro, you mentioned that you were waiting for Roy Jones Jr. to be aggressive. We saw it in that round.
We did. And Bobby, really to have any chance in this fight, has become the bare knuckle brawler. He really has to become bare knuckle.
Well, he
has to get in there and just fight, and he really hasn't.
He's not living up to that moniker.
No.
He should have been doing that from the opening bell.
Yeah, he should have.
Because you have a guy that you know who has to call him chinnies, it is what it is with Roy Jones.
It is at this point of his career, absolutely. Absolutely. Early stages, round number 6. Gunn trying to press the action a little more now. Early stages, round number 6.
Well, he's starting to get beat up, so he needs to kind of get back in his fight quickly.
And we saw Roy Jones Jr. in round number 5 find a home for that right. Everything was set up, whether you want to call it a lazy left or not. Those rights were coming down the boulevard. He was setting them up with those lefts.
Roy Jones in his last bout won 10 rounds against Rodney Moore last August. He hasn't been 12 since 2013. He won a fight in Russia over Zanin Benkarlov.
And you will hear a lot of the critics out there, and like I said, to some extent, it is warranted because you hate to see a legend keep hanging on. It doesn't matter what sport it is, whether it's football, baseball. Boxing's tougher because there's always that battle within. How many great fighters have we seen? 1, 2, 3, 4. They just hung on too long. And you mentioned it as well, Mark. Look, he does a great job doing the broadcast and the telecast, so it's not like he hasn't found a second career in broadcasting. He has. But we're seeing a little bit of vintage Roy Jones Jr. tonight.
Another number you got to look at. Bobby Jones has never been past 8 rounds. So, and he's 43. I mean, we're talking
about
him.
I mean,
like
again, we're not belaboring the point, but it's not even the elephant in the room. We know. 43 and 48. Not 23 and 28. Oh, doubled up again by Jones. Showing fast hands right there.
Because we said earlier in the fight, he still has what I like to call the quicks. He still has some speed. He was so far above everybody that whatever he slipped to, and do you think he's going to compete with the top cruiserweights? Maybe not. But he was so far in terms of skill-wise above everybody that he fought that even his slip, how much he slipped, he's still, a pretty good athlete.
As we get set for round number 7, slated for 12. You mentioned Bobby Gunn hasn't gone 10 rounds?
He hasn't gone past 8.
He hasn't gone past 8.
That was his last bout, Glenn Johnson.
So we're getting in that danger territory right now. Roy Jones Jr. in red trunks, Bobby Gunn in the camouflage trunks, slated for 12. Vacant WBF Cruiserweight Championship on the line.
We talked about Miraz before, going 601 rounds. Jones, this is round number 484 of his career.
Unbelievable.
480.
That's a lot of ring time.
Go about 74.
Again, trying to sneak that left downstairs. I'm sure the crowd wants to see a little more action. Want to see these two engage a little bit. Straight right by Roy. Well, Ciro said it, you said it, I said it. I think a lot of people viewing at home right now, they know it as well. Bobby Gunn's going to have to just take a shot and go for it.
Yeah, well, right there, he tried to sell out, get a left in.
You got to sell out.
Guess they rolled that punch, the second punch behind the head.
Midway through round number 7. If you're Roy Jones Jr., you're sticking with the game plan that we've seen from round number 4, round number 5, round number 6. You're not going to change it up at all.
No,
no need
no
to.
Reason to. Gunn gets in the left. So far, this is Gunn's probably best round of the fight.
Going to have to pick up the pace a little bit.
Just missed with that right hand. Just missed it.
The hand speed was there. He's getting in and out, picking and choosing.
Well, see a big welt running down the right side of Gunn's face.
Oh, great combination! Oh, Roy Jones Jr. just stunned Bobby Gunn.
He's kind of a little upset that Jones didn't go for it. He really rocked Bobby Gunn there.
He did, late stages, round number 7.
10 seconds.
I wouldn't be surprised if the corner of Gunn's puts him on a short leash now.
Great point, those combinations.
I think as we see him get wobbled really bad in the last round, referee Bill Clancy spent a lot of time in Gunn's corner. Not only is the corner probably have the right side of his face in this
and they're
fight
waving it off. They stopped it. They stopped it. They stopped it.
It was inevitable. I don't. Even if the fight goes on,
I still think you give Bobby Gunn the benefit of another round or two.
They couldn't stop the bleeding. You see the blood dripping out of his nose.
Wow.
They couldn't stop that.
You
it probably
think,
would have got worse.
I mean, you got to think.
The new WBF Cruiserweight Champion of the World from Pensacola, Florida, Roy Jones.